Yes, you saw right. A cup and saucer in this day and age, who would have thought? Me drinking out of a cup and saucer, but I do like me coffee, and I especially like me tea now. But that being said, it is unusual to see me drink something without a head on it. But it is only Sunday morning, it's not even 10 o'clock yet, and as much as I could sit here and quite happily down a pint of a suitable and favourite beverage, it's too early. But what I will do is sit here and enjoy the silence. It is relatively silent here, but as the temperature today soars towards the 30-degree mark, then the surrounding noise will likewise intensify and increase so that it becomes an absolute sight of bedlam, and I tend not want to sit in that and retire indoors. But there is a beautiful sound in this garden, and it's a sound of bees, not Osmia bicornis, which is nearly finished now in the bee tree. I had a count up yesterday, interestingly enough, and almost 50 tubes have been used by Osmia bicornis. The sound of the bees and the activity of the bees isn't, as I say, from that bee hotel, but from a tree at the bottom of this small terrace garden. Now, you'll definitely be able to hear it. It attracts bumblebees, this blossom, like nothing else, to be honest. This time of year, lots of ceanothus is out, so were the bumblebees, but it's been a funny year for bumblebees. Good numbers of queens early on in March. Now the workers are out, but it's took a while for the workers to get going. And normally, the commonest species on this tree in previous years has been Bombus hypnorum, the tree nesting bumblebee. However, last year there was a drop in numbers. I did a video featuring this tree last year, and I think I mentioned the numbers of Bombus hypnorum had been down. Well, this year they're down even more, catastrophically down in this garden. And in fact, I've hardly seen any queen Bombus hypnorums this year. I think I might have seen 2, but previous years, Bombus hypnorum, after it arrived in the UK, it quickly became probably the commonest queen bumblebee that you'd see in early spring, but that's a distant tale at the moment. This is a fabulous experience. There's bees all around me here. Some of them will pop into view as they try and get the nectar off the flowers. But it's the sound. I don't know whether the sound will come across, but I'll try and ensure that the sound created by the bees visiting this tree, going about their daily business, comes across. But I'm in no danger of being stung here. I've got no hair for one thing, so they can't get tangled in that. But as long as I leave them alone, they're oblivious to me. They don't care about me. The only thing that the bees are intent on, I'll just ignore them there. I'll make a note of that. But the only thing the bees are intent on is collecting nectar, taking that nectar back to the nest. It's just like being inside a bee's nest. This is as close as you could come to experience the buzzing. But there again, in bees' nests, you don't get so much buzzing as you do when the workers are active as they are now. But the smell coupled with the sound of the bees is just absolutely amazing to me. I love this tree, and I love it for the 2-3 weeks that it's like this. It's in full flower and it attracts the bees. Certainly in the wider scheme of things locally, this tree is the proverbial magnet for insects. It's the best nectar source for hundreds of yards. And in the past, I've watched the bees comings and goings from this tree. Did it with Bombus hypnorum a couple of years ago, I think it was. Bees were leaving this tree in about 5 different directions. So this one tree was responsible for providing food for the larvae of bees in at least 5 nests, but probably more. It's fabulous. And it proves one thing, that you can have a fabulous and heartwarming and sort of meaningful wildlife experience in your own garden. As a nectar source, the books might not give Ceanothus as being one of the best sources of nectar, but by God does it attract the bees. And thankfully, it attracts them in large numbers. At the bottom of the garden, I have a raised area, and on that raised area, directly underneath the bee tree here, is a bench. Over the years, it's took a while, but over the years it's gradually become more grown up around it with the vegetation, and when the bee tree is flowering as it is, it must almost double the weight because the branches come right down. But this is the most beautiful place to sit. If it wasn't for people in the surrounding houses and the daily activities, you could be sat in the middle of nowhere under a similar tree. It's just like having your head in a beehive. I'm very fortunate. People have often laughed and called Dilys and myself for creating the garden that we did. But when I sit here, I can also look at this. I absolutely adore this garden. It's not high maintenance, and the key plants in it are valerian, and they're there for the hummingbird hawk moth. But the bumblebees love valerian, and all the plants that are in the garden and planted all the way down the yard to the back door. But when the bee tree is in full flower, boy, is this such a valuable source of nectar for bees and flies and butterflies and moths.